Good morning. You all went like quiet at the same time. It's like you knew that I came up here to do a prayer. All right, let us join together and get ourselves spiritually aligned. I invite you to close your eyes if that's comfortable for you. If not, maybe find something to put a soft gaze on. This is our opportunity to release ourselves into our truth, into the present moment, being fully right here, right now. Appreciating this beautiful day that is outside that we got to travel here in. Appreciating this beautiful space that we get to join together in. And appreciating this church for giving us the opportunity to join together with like-minded individuals and say, yes, yes, God, yes. We let it be well. We let it be so. And so it is, and amen. All right. Nick, you should have stayed up here because you're back up. I invite you all to stand up and join along as Nick leads us in our call to worship song. This is our last Sunday with I Am the Place Where God Shows Up.
Am I strong enough to bear the burdens that sometimes comes with living this thing called life? Am I wise enough to make the right decisions when I'm standing at the fork in the road? Sometimes I wonder and ponder, only to realize I'm not alone and there's nothing I have to do on my own. And I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. Will I have enough to do the things I need to do to take care of myself? Will I have the health of mind and body to live a life of grace and wholeness? Sometimes I wonder and ponder, only to realize I'm not alone and there's nothing I have to do on my own. And I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has his being. I am the place that God shows up. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up.
Good morning. My name is Chip, and I want to thank you for this opportunity to be your worship assistant this morning. It's an important thing for me to be your worship assistant. It's like a spiritual touchstone for me. I get kind of reflective. And I don't know about you, but one of the lessons I'm learning right now is perseverance. And I said learning, not learned, because it's an ongoing process to learn how to be perseverant. I don't know about your mama, but did she tell you the phrase, you got to take the good with the bad? Yeah. Turns out life is that way, isn't it? We got to take the good with the bad. I've had both this past week. Starting the week, my son, who's a 14-year-old in 8th grade, he's been elevated to play varsity lacrosse. And there he is, an 8th grader playing with the varsity students. His team won the state championship just this past Saturday. And that was wonderful to see that happen for my son. His self-confidence has grown so much as the 8th grader gets to play with the much older varsity kids. So I'm very, very happy for him. However, then another part of my week took place. Some of you know that I've been spending a lot of time in Louisville recently, Louisville, Kentucky. And I went there because I was part of a project where I was building a real estate development there. And it was a very exciting project. It was in a very poor section of the town, but we were going to put restaurants and senior living into a very poor section of the town. It was received very well. I got to meet with the mayor, with the state senator, with state legislatures, and 5 or 6 of the city council members. So we had this coming together in a beautiful way. However, this project, which was worth more than $100 million, fell apart this past week. The owner finally got to the word no. And what was tough about it, it's the 5th time over the last 3 or 4 years where I got to yes on a deal that was going to make me at least $1 million. At least $1 million. 5 times. And once again, the answer was no. So I'm learning perseverance. I'm learning as I go. But what I'm asking you is to help me. How do I open up the energy of the universe in a way where I get to yes? The ultimate yes, right? Well, what I told my wife about 20 years ago, when I make my first $1 million, I was going to stay drunk for a month. And then I quit drinking. So that's not going to work for me anymore. Is that my hindrance to the energy flowing to me? I need a new celebration about what I'm going to do with the money when I get to it? No, go ahead and help me, my friend. I need your help. Well, being perseverant, I'm going to keep on working on it because I am optimistic that ultimately I'm going to get to that yes. And ultimately I'm going to help this church in a meaningful way because I think it's so beautiful to be with you this morning and so beautiful to learn the positive aspects of life that we learn with each other, how to reinforce our most positive energies going through life. So help us participate in this practice we have here at Unity in Greensboro. Turn to a neighbor. Turn to that neighbor and say, good morning. Good morning. I love you this morning. And I sure do appreciate your being here. Now, because in Unity we believe in the power affirmations. We believe that our spoken word becomes our reality as we get this deep into our consciousness. Please repeat and say with me our affirmations for this month. Okay. Let's together. By spiritual power, I concentrate on shining the light of love, life, and wisdom into my life and into the world. I am master of my thoughts, words, and actions. And now I'm going to give the daily word for today. I am comforted by the embrace of divine love. When someone dear to me transitions, I may feel fearful and alone. I do not hide from my feelings or seek to numb them, even if I feel tempted. Grief has come to pass, but it cannot pass until I acknowledge and feel it. Opening to all my heart is holding. I feel a presence far stronger than pain. Even in the deepest grief, divine love is strong within me, lifting me, making my feelings bearable. As I feel comforted by this love, I become increasingly aware of the peace and strength in my heart. Even in my grief, I am grateful to trust the healing comfort of divine love. It blesses me today, and I will be an ongoing presence as I need it. My love for those I lost is essential and unchanging, just like God's love for me. At Matthew 5:4, it reads, "Blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted." Okay, Mr. Minister.
So if I pull together, I think either from my Unity principles or New Thought studies or even what Abraham Hicks would say, Chip, what I heard was that you've loaded up $5 million in your vortex that are ready to be manifested, which is awesome for the $500,000 tithe you'll give us, right? All right, so now's the time that we're grateful that the youth are now joining us first here in the room, and then they make their way down to their own private space and get away from we adults, and we bless them out of the room. So we'll invite youth and teachers to get up, and then we're going to sing you out of the room. Now, y'all, I understand y'all didn't know this song that's one line while I was out of town. So I created a graphic for you so that you don't even have to remember the words. So if y'all could sing along, it would just be lovely. All right, you ready? We're blessing y'all out of the room. All God's children gotta go to Sunday school. 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 Boom. And that includes us, right? We're here to grow and expand, and that's a type of schooling. So, all right, I believe Rod is up. That's mine. I didn't mute it.
Thank you, Wally. You reminded me to get my own timer out here since you are so diligent about time. I'm the prayer chaplain this morning. Welcome, everyone, especially newcomers. We will be going through a prayer and then into a meditation. And when we get to the meditation, it's some general tips that might help you. Anytime if your mind is really active, you can focus on the breath. And if it's really active, you can count 1 to 4 and then exhale 1 to 6. And I learned recently that science is now proving that method of exhaling longer than you inhale actually synchronizes the heart and mind. It makes us healthier. It has an impact of, if we do it for 3 minutes, an impact that could last 5 or 6 hours. Now, Wally hasn't given me more than 3 minutes today, so you'll need to do this on your own later. But you can experiment this morning anyway.
Max of 4 minutes. So there's an extra 60 seconds.
That's 60-second prayer and 3-minute meditation. Good. Thank you, Nana, for being up here. Nana is our honorary prayer chaplain. After the service, if anyone would like prayer, we have 3 rooms. 2 are right here on my right and 1 or more down the hall. If anyone would like to pray, we do have several other prayer chaplains I see sitting together in the mid-table there. If you'd like to be included in the prayer list, we do have the prayer box here for those who are here. There's also a link on the website available, and we do get those emails and respond to them. So let us just relax into the silence. Noticing the heart space. Noticing whatever intentions, whatever's been on our mind in the last weeks. And we add to that Patty and Maddie Mitchell, who have requested prayer as well. We envision everyone surrounded by the healing light of the Christ Spirit. Their physical, etheric, and energy bodies are purified in the process of this. We release all thoughts of separation, and by doing so, the truth is revealed. We find that miracles are commonplace, welcoming opportunities to share our loving presence with others, to be channels for goodness and for our higher selves. As we align with the teachings of the saints and avatars and the Christ Spirit, we easily envision the best for every situation, focusing on our service as our mission, moving beyond knowledge into pure experience, fully aware of the sacred within. We send love energy to everyone, everywhere we go, for the highest good of ourselves and all beings, and we claim it is so. Amen. As we continue in silence and meditation, noticing the breath. With those long, deep exhales. And silently say, I am that. I am that. As we prepare and begin to notice our body, we set the intention that this energy is with us in the coming days and weeks. Only a breath away. And when you're ready, open your eyes. And welcome back. So now we get to hear from our talented musician, Mr. Nick Boulay, unless you're going to introduce him. He needs no introduction, I'm told. Thank you, Nana.
I went to Tennessee this last weekend for a celebration of life for a friend. And it was great just to see all those people from Tennessee. And on the way home, I started getting this idea for a song. And there was a board meeting Monday, and I sent Wally a text saying, like, you never know what's going to happen at board meetings, because I started writing the chorus to this song during the board meeting. This is for the title that would be right now would be Dress Yourself in Gratitude. The curtain on the day is slowly raising. Wake up to the sunrise, it's amazing. Songbirds fill the morning, what message are they bringing? Can your heart hear the song that they are singing? They say, God's prepared the way. A path that leads to peace. For what no longer serves us now can be released. So dress yourself in gratitude and feel forgiveness growing. Let abundance fill your heart so the love is overflowing. Open up your mind so your thoughts become divine. Feel the presence of the Spirit. If you listen, you can hear it. God's prepared the way, a path that leads to peace. For what no longer serves us now can be released. So dress yourself in gratitude and feel forgiveness growing. Let abundance fill your heart. So the love is overflowing. Open up your mind. Let your thoughts become divine. Feel the presence of the Spirit. If you listen, you will hear it. And when your faith is tested, look at what you've manifested. And take some time so you'll be rested, 'cause another sunrise is coming soon.
Wrote that this week, huh? That's beautiful. It's beautiful. So last week, the whole streaming thing is pretty cool because I was at 10 o'clock, I was in the parking lot at Unity of Columbus, Ohio. And so I tuned in just for the kickoff. And then I had to go in and, meet the people I was going to work with that day. So, I checked in here first. So, and got to hear some of the good music. And then when I got in the car, started driving home, then I got to watch the whole service because by then it was on YouTube. So I got to do what we set everything up for the people who can't be in the room. And it was good. And Tanya was amazing. And I'm going to go ahead and look for somewhere else so y'all can have her. When I was listening to her talk, I was like, oh, yeah, that's good. I said, I thought specifically of Ellie because Ellie has a great fondness for Tanya. And I said, Ellie's going to be pushing me to get Tanya back in here soon. And then when she came up, it was like, oh, I wonder when Wally's going to be gone again. and said, just kidding, Wally. I said out loud, alone in my car, no, you're not. But I am going to, when I go to the Unity Convention in June, I'm going to be gone for 2 Sundays. But those Sundays are already booked. Yeah, so you're going to still get good stuff. John Connor's going to be here on Father's Day, and he's going to do an Ask the Minister service. So we're going to start collecting questions next week for that. And then the following Sunday, Daniel Capel, the English guy who is at Unity of Lynchburg, he's going to do both the music and the message. Whatever that Sunday, the 4th Sunday of June. So anyway, this is not announcement time, but anyway, the Unity of Columbus was, I didn't start the timer, was really cool. Like I love visiting all these different Unity churches and kind of seeing how they started and all the stuff. And the founding minister of that church, and I don't know that he came straight there, and I don't know how old their church is, but it's been around for a while. And this gentleman was in Unity ministerial classes with Johnny Coleman and Catherine Ponder. And, Johnny Coleman ended up being the first African-American student allowed to live on the property at Unity Village. And that happened because her fellow students who were all white living on the property signed a letter saying either let her move onto the property or we're all leaving. And this gentleman was one of the signatures on that letter. So it was pretty cool to be in a church that he helped found. So anyway, so we are continuing on with our series of looking at the 10 Commandments one at a time and finding what our metaphysical lessons are in that. The 6th commandment says, thou shalt not kill. I mean, really, before you even dig into the spiritual information, like that one's like on surface, like a pretty good rule, right? It's like, yeah, just don't kill people, But there's plenty of things we do like. It's like many people would starve if they couldn't get some animals, ended or really even the plant. It's like, nope, you're done growing. I'm going to eat you now, But anyway, the prosperity commandment on this commandment is you shall not take your wealth out of circulation. So Then I went to just a straight up dictionary on wealth. Like, I think we all know what wealth is, but what does a dictionary say about wealth? And it says it is an abundance of valuable possessions or money. So it's not just money, and it's also not just the material goods, right? Like, you can be very wealthy in spirit. Like, try having a really happy day and then having a not happy at all day, and you realize how wealthy you were on that happy day, right? We've all had some of both, and if you think of the emotional, the feeling in your body on those, you're like, oh yeah, like I'm quite wealthy on those days that I can laugh and I can feel good and all of that stuff. But then it does mention money. So I then looked into, we have a very clear definition of what money is today, and it's been that way all of our lives. We're on a long run of what we call money. But historically, money was cattle. When they didn't know what paper cash was or coins, they were trading cows, right? Because that was of great value to the people in those whatever years in BC, and they traded these little shells, right? And I don't know what the value of those were, but they were on the list. Leather or skins, silks, fabrics, and then an interesting one, salt. Salt was money, right? In fact, so much so that the word salary, the Latin root word for salary is sal, which is salt, stands for salt. So even today, when we're collecting our salary, the root of it is salt. So, the definitions shift and flow just like we do as we grow and we expand and all of that. In Matthew 5:13, and Matthew metaphysically represents our will. So the perspective, kind of the filter on the information we're getting from Matthew, is about our own spiritual will. And it says, you are the salt of the earth. But if the salt loses its saltiness, how can it be made salty again? It is no longer good for anything except to be thrown out and trampled underfoot. Now that is true of the material thing of salt, right? Salt was of great value, not just the way we use it now. Can I get some salt to shake on top of this stuff? Like, that's the way they preserved meats, right? Because they didn't have no Frigidaire. They didn't have an ice box either, right? They just had a ground that they tried to bury stuff in and all of that. So that stuff staying good meant something of greater value then than it does now. But we are the salt of the earth, right? Now that's where there's a slight change, because in the material good of salt, if it's not taken care of properly, it will lose its saltiness. And then you can't get it back, like it's gone. But when we have our moments of losing some saltiness, or maybe sometimes getting a little extra salty, but we always have the ability to keep shifting, to balancing. And part of the balancing is sometimes we're going to tip that seesaw all the way over, but it's not stuck there. It doesn't then lock in. We get to kind of pull it back up and balance ourselves as we recognize the need or the want of a shift of whatever that is, right? I watched this video this morning of Abraham Hicks talking about that. She taps in and talks to Jerry, who is her deceased husband, and she'll journal stuff and that sort of thing and feel like she's really having a conversation with him. And one day she was like, Jerry, I'm really lonely. And the message she got back was, are you lonely or are you bored? Because it's like, because you can do something about being bored. And if you shift from not being bored, then you won't have time to feel lonely, right? So that's what we get to, of like, oh, I really need, whatever your fill in the blank is. There's something you can do about it, if just simply changing your mind slightly about it, right? Like, I live alone, and sometimes I call a bunch of people and everybody's got something else going on, and so then I'm just at the house by myself. I could feel bad about that, or I could, find that one show that I hadn't, watched. What do they call it when you watch them all together? Binged. That I hadn't binged yet, and then I can take up the whole night and tomorrow too. I got to do that with Bridgerton. I hadn't started that one yet. Anyway, it's always saying that, like, there is value in making sure that we take care of our stuff so that it doesn't lose its saltiness, so that it doesn't lose its value. But the good news is, and that's true for us and our stuff, but when it happens within us, when we're having what feels like the low moment, we can simply take a breath and remind ourselves of who we are and what we are so that we keep moving forward. Now, how does that get back into this commandment that we're talking about? When we're looking at metaphysically killing, like, we kill stuff all the time. Like, we shut stuff down. Right? Oh, well, that won't work. Well, I can't do that'd be fun, but I can't do that. I'm too short, tall, skinny, fat. I'm too. So that's done. I can't do that. Well, I wanted this relationship to work out, but I'm tired of working on it, so I'm not in that. Sometimes that's a good idea, by the way. But other times we're like, no, it just wouldn't work. And it's like, would it not work, or did you just decide you didn't want to work it anymore, right? And so the question then comes in. Oh, I think I jumped around on where was I? Where is that note? I know there's a note here on, things we kill. So, see, that's why I could never do. We've talked about, some ministers script out word for word the entire document. I can't even keep track with notes. So, things that we kill: a reputation, someone's dream, our own dream, confidence. Those are the things that there's no value in killing that for ourselves or someone else. Somebody may come into you and tell you, oh, my dream is, and fill in the blank of stuff that you ain't never heard anybody doing that. Or nobody from our area has ever done that. Or, whatever those things are. Why on earth would you shut them down, right? Like, you may see if it's a child that you want to help direct in some way. You may say, yes, you should absolutely work on that. And while you're doing that, maybe learn a couple of other things over here that can help. That one may take a while to fund. So you may want to learn this other skill that can help bring in the cash that will help fund life while you're working on that. You can do that. That's not killing it. But to say, oh, that won't work, you should stop thinking about that right now, right? Like, that's killing somebody's dream. And where's the value in killing anybody's dream? Where's the value in killing our own dream, right? Like, it doesn't hold us back to simply give life. The titles that I've done on these commandments are not the commandments themselves, but simply what I think is the positive message of, like, after you've been through the storm, once you get to the other side, like, the lessons that you've learned from that you can pick up and move forward with. Like, that has been what I've tried to use as the title. So thou shalt not kill is, let's honor life. And as we honor our own life, then we can honor other people's lives. And as we honor other people's lives, we pick them up a little bit more, so then they're ready to help honor some more lives, and we roll that around and around. I saw somebody had put on Facebook the other day that something about, they longed for the day when they woke up and the news said that there was peace on earth. Well, there is peace on earth. Just because this particular story is about war in this one section of the planet, somewhere else there is absolute, total peace on earth. So if you feel the lack of peace because you got up and turned the TV on too quick, then turn it back off. You can go to YouTube and get videos on whatever you want to see. Right? So you can be like, positive, peace, love, type all that stuff in and see what those videos come up. Just to remind yourself of what there is. Because if it is, you can have it too. All that God is everywhere equally present, and we are one with that. So whatever it is that exists anywhere exists for us. All that God is, we are. All that God has is ours. So if you wake up saying, well, I sure do wish there was some peace on earth, well, create some by stopping talking about the negative of it and just find something to be peaceful about, right? So life is circulation, meaning like, you know, that's the simple, like you can think in your bloodstream, you don't want to clot in one of those veins because that causes trouble because it holds up the flow, right? You know, you don't, sometimes dams and rivers are good and sometimes they cause floods, right? Because it's got to keep moving in some way or another. If it's going to be a proper dam, it's got to have that release thing on it because every once in a while you got to let some of it move. You can't keep it still forever. Stagnation is death. Other ways that we see stagnation is hoarding or saving stuff. Not saving money is great. It's smart most of the time. But if you're doing it out of fear, probably not going to be that helpful and probably not going to go as far as you had hoped it would. Whereas if you're doing it knowing that you're connected to the abundance of all life, then you probably get what you need and then have a little bit more, right? I say probably because we each have our own perspective. We each have our own way that we're going to use it and act it out. So it's up to us. But we can always stop and ask ourselves, am I staying in circulation or am I holding something up, right? Because I want to be a part of circulation. I want to stay on the move. I want to go and move around, right, in some way or another. I want to be a part of life that is always active, always moving. In Luke 6:3-8, and Luke represents light giving. So this is like, all right, I want to get some spiritual illumination on my thoughts right now. That's what you're going to get out of Luke. And it says, give, and it will be given to you. A good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over will be poured into your lap. For with the measure you use, it will be measured to you. Now, I've been in churches where that is what they read right before they pass the plate, right? But it is about money, but it's not just about money. It's about everything. When we give, we kick off step one of the law of give and receive. So if there's something you feel like you need, then go give some of that. But then don't get stuck on looking for it to come back where you gave it, because the world, the universe, God is bigger than that, right? So what this law says, though, is that when we give, not only will it be given back, it's going to be that, see, now we get into cooking, which I'm not great at, but that's what this is really going, yeah, like think flour and the sifting, right? I used to, when my granny had the little silver thing with the thing that you turned, you know, so the measure is pressed down and then it's shaken together, and so that you get it good down in there, and then it's still running over. Like we get that in life. In all the ways where we purposely put positive, loving energy out, that's what we can expect to receive back in abundance. That's the promise, that's the law. Now, a quote that Reverend Della had written that I really loved a lot was, prayer and praise change us, not God. Prayer and praise change us, not God, because God is consistent at all times. God is fully available at a higher level than most of us will ever need to really use all of at any one given time. But it's consistently available. So what shifts is our thinking, and we do that by getting ourselves realigned, shifted around, by focusing, using prayer and using meditation and using praise. You know, and praise is like, oh, look at that. That is so good. I love that. Like right now in my house, and this is a silly thing. I took a picture of it maybe yesterday, and then I deleted it. I'm like, I'm not posting that. It's a placemat and a napkin and the napkin ring, which is a little birdhouse thing, and I just love all the colors, and it makes me happy when I see it. It's simple, but I stopped to enjoy it because for some reason the combination of kind of the lighter blue and the green, and then I'm just, that's nice. And that simple just seed, that's the mustard seed, right? It's not something big, it's not something life-changing, but it allows us to shift. That's how we stay away from the killing mode. That's how we stay out of the negative mind frame. Because, when you're feeling bad, that's when, well, none of this is going to work, and I don't even know why y'all are asking me to do this. And, that's when we're ready to shut everything down. So the key that we can do is to keep ourselves focused on our own power, on our own truth, and reminding ourselves of who and what we are. So, ushers, I need you to pass out the documents that are in that top drawer that I hid because I didn't want y'all to give out before I was ready for them to give out. Della had mentioned in her chapter that she wrote on this something about a contract, but then I never found one, so I created one. This is a partnership agreement because I'm inviting you to read this. There is something valuable about signing something saying, yes, I agree to this so much, I'm willing to put my signature on it. I don't recommend anybody sign it right this second because I want you to read this and decide whether you really want to be a part of it or not. Now, the truth is, as far as my belief goes, this partnership agreement is already active and God's already doing the God part of this. And now, which is part of us. So part of us is already doing this, right? But it's whether we want to, in our conscious mind, actively participate in it. And when we get them out, we'll read it out loud. And just look at this and think about it because it's something that gives us information of how we can get into the positive frame, how that we can live in a prosperous way, which is prosperous is not just money or the houses or the cars. It's happy, joy, peace, health, right? All of that stuff. So I'm going to start reading this as they come out. And then I want you all to take this home. And if you decide you like it, I invite you to consider signing it and then putting it somewhere where you can pull it out and remind yourself of these promises and your truth as you go along. This agreement is made on whatever date you sign it by and between the senior partner, hereafter God, and the managing partner, you. That's where you write your name down. Because you're the managing partner because you have free will. So you get to decide when you're going to say yes and be active and when you say, I don't want to do that, right? So both parties enter into this agreement with the understanding that a partner is one that shares in the possessions or enjoyment of something with another. A partnership is a legal relationship existing between two or more competent persons who have contracted to place some of their effects, money, labor, and skills in the shared practice with the understanding and agreement that there shall be a communion of profit between them. Samples of the prophets. There were like 50 of them.
I'll check again.
Okay. No. It's this document. I can print more if there's anybody who doesn't have one, but I printed 50 of them. There we go. Samples of those prophets are what we teach in our 12 powers. So, sample of the prophets to be shared are faith, love, strength, wisdom, power, imagination, understanding, will, order, zeal, renunciation, and life. These prophets are known to manifest in countless positive ways of thinking, feeling, and material goods. God is available for conversations, guidance, and work 24 hours per day, 7 days per week. The managing partner, that's us, is the final decision maker at all times due to the free will stipulation. God agrees to uphold the offer in John 15:7, which states, if you abide in me and my words abide in you, ask whatever you wish, and it will be done for you. And that word abiding in us isn't just the scripted out words in the Bible. Those are meant to help get us to our truth. The real word of God is going to pop up in your own prayer and your own meditations. Managing partner is in control of profit sharing as per the explanation in Proverbs 11:24-25, which states, One person gives freely, yet gains even more. Another withholds unduly, but comes to poverty. A generous person will prosper. Whoever refreshes others will be refreshed. Using the samples of profits listed above are known to create extremely satisfactory profit sharing from this partnership. By signing below, the managing partner acknowledges a partnership where God is, all that God is, I am, and all that God has is mine. In the name and the nature of the Christ principle, and sign it if you feel like you're ready to. I hope that that's useful to you. I had fun working on it and putting it together. And then on the back side, we put the Unity 5 principles, so that we put that on several things here and there. But it's a great place to just click in, right? To take that quick reminder of, oh yeah, God is all there is. And I'm part of that. And I get into it with my thoughts and my prayer and my meditation. And when I get into it and remind myself of that truth, it's not good enough just to know it. Now I got to go use it in my life, my world, and my affairs. I love you. I bless you. And I behold the Christ that absolutely is you. Thank you for being here today. Oh, yeah. Yeah, those were not meant to be passed out yet. So those are, so the new home stuff, we're going to have a meeting after service. Everybody's invited to stay and eat lunch, and we're going to talk. And we're going to ask these questions out loud and discuss it, but then we also want to give everybody the opportunity to write answers. But, yeah, that's meant for afterwards. All right, so I'm going to invite Kathy up, for the offertory.
Okay, hi. I have a little story to tell you today. It's about our paintings that we have up on the wall, Will and Faith. These are two of our 12 powers of God. They were painted by Jack Stone, who was a member of our church a number of years ago. They hung high on the fellowship hall that we were in at the time, in Opal Avenue, Lane Street, Drive. Okay. All right, and they were all surrounding us in the fellowship hall, and there's 12 of them that hopefully we'll see all of them soon. And they have been securely wrapped up and stored in our storage room here. And ever since we moved from Opal Drive, we have had them wrapped up. Well, while setting up the tables for the ordination for Wally and Miranda, we were talking, and we were messing around. And so during that time, Suzanne and Ellie and I decided, after a suggestion, that maybe we should fill up that wall. And we remembered the paintings that were sitting in the storage room down the hallway. And so we decided it would be a marvelous idea to hang these powers so that we can see them. And so we went down to the storage room, and they're all stacked up on their sides against each other. And so to pull one out from the middle of it would be a chore, would be a problem. So we decided that we would take the first two paintings that are in the stack, and no matter what they were going to be just what we needed. And so that was an affirmation that we would find the right ones right there in front of us, which so many times it happens that way, isn't it? It's right there in front of us, and we don't know until we think about it a little bit, maybe. But so we got them out, and we found out that they were Faith and Will. And that's what we seem to need here in our moving. here and moving to a new place, hopefully, is the faith that we are going to find the right place and the will to take the action and accomplish those visions. And so Will is taking action and giving financially, which I'm here to request. And faith is going to keep us strong and wise in our decisions, which some of them we may be talking about after the service. And they both, the will to move along with our ideas and our visions, and the faith that we're going to hold for those visions are what we need, and we have them hanging up there to remind us. And sometime we're going to get another one in the middle there. But I want to thank Bobby and Suzanne for hanging them for us. And wanted to say that the old saying applies here. Where there is a will, there is a way. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, and as the ushers go around and accept any gifts, if you give electronically, or you can just send some love around to the bags, and I like to place my hand on my heart and let us all sing this together. We'll do the short version. Thank you, God, for everything. 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 And together let us affirm. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, and I am grateful. All right. And I've got the first announcement, and then I'm going to hand it over to Chip. So we need to, with this change of being in this room, we need to kind of re-up some teams. One, we need to get some people who are willing to volunteer to join the facilities team that we've really had mostly dormant because we're not responsible for taking care of the building overall. But we are responsible for keeping this room clean, and we don't have anyone that's helping do that right now. So if we could get some people, I've got a sign-up sheet that I'm going to put in the back right after service for a facilities team, and then once we know who we've got that's willing to help, we'll work out a schedule of when, a team of 2 or more can come in on what day, and whether we need to get them a key or whether somebody has one, all that kind of stuff. The other is it's awesome having food every Sunday now, mostly breakfast church. Today we decided to confuse everybody by doing lunch instead. We're going to do that again, by the way, at the end of June, because we'll be at the park, so we'll do lunch after there. But it's lovely, and then most Sundays everybody goes, and there's crumbs on tables, and there's dishes to be washed, and there's stuff to... So we just need, if we could get a hospitality team going again, where we can have teams of, say, 2 people. Now, previously with our hospitality team, those people would then be responsible for bringing all the food. I'm not suggesting that at all. I think we're all capable of bringing some food to share and that sort of thing. But we need teams of 2 people who can be responsible for helping come in a little early and get stuff set up and get the coffee out and all this stuff. And then at the end, make sure that our coffee cups, I think it's really cool to be able to use a real coffee cup instead of, the throwaway stuff, but then they have to be washed. So I have a sign-up sheet here with dates for June and July of who might be willing to help and volunteer for that as well. And then lastly, we've been having someone from the board or from the finance team, which we call the prosperity team, doing the offertory invitation. And we're still going to do that because they do have a special knowledge and responsibility of understanding what the current financial needs of the church are. But we also really want to include everybody because this is really a time to remind ourselves why we love this church and why we think it's important to give to this church to keep it going and that sort of thing. So we really want to hear stories. And I don't care whether you're a member at all or whether you're the longest running member here. Everybody's got a story of how unity principles first touched you and why they're valuable to you and that sort of thing. So if you're willing to do that, I know some people don't like a microphone and a spotlight that I call my home. But and so, I don't want to pressure anybody, but Kathy's like, well, why didn't you tell me that before? So if you're willing to participate in that, please let me know or one of the board members know, and we would love to kind of stir that up. Now, those stories really should be like talking about time, like 2 minutes. All right, that's it. I'm done. All right, Chip, you're up. Thank you.
Thank you, Wally. We have announcements each week because we want you to know that while coming to church Sunday morning is an important part of my spiritual practice, certainly, because it gives me the ability to recharge my spiritual battery, right? Being here helps me understand what it is I need to do to make my life and to make the people around me life better. So here we go. Is there anybody here that's for the first time by any chance and has not received? Have you received a welcome packet by any chance? You have. Okay. We're just asking for the opportunity to stay in touch with you. And it's so nice to have you with us this morning. I hope you enjoy the positive message that we bring each week. So please, I hope you're able to come back with us. Now, we have a new Unity in Greensboro t-shirts on the back table back there. So you can check them out. They're available to you, of course. And Wally, I need your help. Oh, look at that. In his second role as a model. All right. There's the front. Very good. Thank you. And Wally, I need your help on this one because I'm supposed to talk about our new young adult ministry group. Is that what YAM stands for? I see YAM, Young Adult Ministry. There you go. Now I know what YAM means in a unity sense. Young Adult Ministries. But you saw the folks leaving here at the first part of our service this morning. After high school, but young adults who are looking for a spiritual connection with each other. You're welcome to participate in this, and please see Cruz Potts for more information about how you and your loved ones can get involved. Now, our own licensed Unity teacher, Candy Bartling Connor, she is continuing to teach her program on world religions. So the first Wednesday of June will be a session on Buddhism, and I think that's pretty exciting. I think I might be a part of that because Buddhism is something that I'm certainly interested in. So please feel free to participate, and it does help if you let her know that you'll be attending her class. You can register for it through the Tuesday e-blast, of course, so please register and be part of the Buddhism discussion on the first Wednesday of June. And our chaplains, could you raise your hands, please? Our chaplains in the room. These beautiful people are available to pray with you. Please take that opportunity to have some prayer with some trained chaplains. Thank you very much, and Nick, you're next.
So I'm going to play a song that I wrote a long time. It's not really long from how many songs I've written. But this is about, where's that water? So I wrote this song in 2005. And it's about, I was at an energy workshop in Nashville. And it was early September. And this was right after Hurricane Katrina had hit. So we were trying to figure out just the energy of that group just kind of exploded in my mind. And probably because of this song, this is why I'm in North Carolina now and not in Tennessee. So I'm going to ask you to sing a little bit of this song. This is a song about about choosing to listen to what is going on in the world around you and what you need to do for yourself. So this particular part of the song has, 3 or 4 words. And it goes like this. To follow, to follow, to follow the energy. So if you can try that with me. To follow, to follow, to follow the energy. Sounds really nice. When I was at Tennessee, all these people knew songs I'd written, so they all sang along with me on that. It was really nice. This is a song sort of in the voice of Buddhism. It's about attachment and detachment. So maybe you'll get some energy from this. See the water start stirring, and the wind begins to blow. And you'd like to wait the storm out. You see it's time to go. To leave a place called home, what would you have to see to like a gypsy roam? Tell me, how would that be? Here we go. To follow, to follow, to follow the energy. Now you see the waters rising. What are these attachments? All these bonds we make, to start each day with anew. Tell me, what would that take to follow, to follow, to follow the energy? Leave a place called home, what would you have to see to like a gypsy roam? Tell me, how would that be to follow, to follow, to follow the energy?
You got to trust and know to follow. I got turned off. What I said to the camera people, you got to trust and know to follow. I thought of that made me think of, like, you know, being willing to let your canoe go downstream instead of putting in the extra work of going upstream, and knowing that you can trust water, especially when we're talking metaphysically and our thinking and our spiritual nature. You can trust that it is always flowing through all the crooks and crannies and every turn that it makes, that it is always making its way to the larger body of water. And we are always making our way to the larger spiritual truth to use, depending on where we started, where we woke up, what we were thinking about then, and reminding ourselves of that. So follow that energy. I love that. Thank you. All right, so next week we're looking at Commandments, which message is staying true. And we have a new musical guest that will be here. She started joining us for some classes, and there was a former member who Catherine was meant to speak at the memorial service for, and she had something come up, and so I went and did it. Clara and Julia Goodson was there as the piano player that day, and so she will be here as our musical guest next Sunday. So come and show some extra love for her as well. And I think that's it. Let me flip. Yeah, that's it. What does that say? Oh, yeah. Benediction. I just gave it to you. Follow. I mean, he really gave it to you. I just added to it. So let's stand up, if you will, and join hands if you'd like to. If you'd rather not, I invite you to place your hands in the air and let us sing the peace song together. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as And together let us affirm, the light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, love is, peace is, light is, God is, and all is well. And so it is. So we are going to have a new home meeting with everybody that's able to stay for that, and we also have lunch. If you can't stay, we would love for you to fill out one of the forms. If you don't have time to fill it out now, take it with you. You can email me. You can email the info, but we definitely want to get that information. And then we're going to get all the food set up now for lunch. Thanks, everybody.